Welcome. Welcome to the memorial service for Cobra Azodomolki, known by everyone as Kobi Jaan. My name is Julie Dominish. I am the celebrant for today's service. I would like to acknowledge and welcome family who are joining us by the live stream link. We are pleased that you are able to be here with us today from afar. Kobi Jaan lived 90 for 95 years. During her life, she would have experienced vastly different changes as the world progressed. She also experienced personal suffering. Yet, she was always happy. For 75 years of her life, I am told, even though she was a practicing Muslim, she never forced her beliefs onto anyone, and she always respected other people and their belief. I understand that Kobi was a private person. She would never like anyone to speak badly of another person, especially in her presence. And she would often say, "Don't talk about people behind their back, you're not in there." Kobi Jaan was a dignified lady, and she was loved by everyone. She will always be remembered for her smile, rarely not having a smile on her face, and she enjoyed a great sense of humour. I'm told that Kobi was born from a line of philosophers and writers. She married a family member of the Qajar dynasty. She worked for 26 years as a school teacher and a school principal in Iran. In the mid-1970s, Kobi Jaan and her husband Manucher moved to Australia. I understand that she felt very spoiled by her husband. He would always look after her. They travelled the world together, and she would make yearly visits to Iran. When I met with Hema, I asked for 3 words to best describe her mum. Hema's response was compassionate, forgiving, and selfless. What a wonderful legacy Kobi Jaan's family have been left, just in those 3 words alone. Today we will hear more about Kobi Jaan's life from some of the people who loved her. They will share a eulogy and some memories. To begin, I ask Kobi Jaan's grandson, Arash, to please share the eulogy.
Cobra Azodomolki née Faizai Khorasani was the eldest child of Ali Faizai Khorasani and Munir Hakimi. She was affectionately called Kobi Jaan by her grandmother, and it became the name she was affectionately known by for the rest of her life. Kobi Jaan was born on the 2nd of September 1927 in a comfortable middle-class family in Tehran, Iran. Her father, Ali, was from Khorasani province and came from a line of writers and philosophers. Her mother, Munir, was from a family of landowners in the northern suburbs of the capital city, Tehran. She had 1 sibling, a brother by the name of Ahmad. Kobi Jaan had a happy childhood. Her grandparents and small family of 4 lived together. She was raised by 2 strong and influential women with very different views and convictions. Her grandmother, a religious woman, taught her all about religion, prayers, and spirituality. Her mother, Munir, on the other hand, was a free spirit who taught her to be independent and never rely on anyone financially. She also made sure Kobi Jaan was educated enough to look after herself. Kobi Jaan finished her schooling in Tehran, continued her higher education, and she became a teacher. She lived in the same neighbourhood as her future husband, Manucher. They would pass each other on the way to school and work. That is where love blossomed between them, and they were engaged in 1945 and married in September 1947. Baba Manucher and Kobi Jaan had 4 children, 3 girls and 1 boy, Hida, Hima, Hamid and Homera. And they worked hard to make a happy and comfortable life for them. Even though they had some very rough patches during their married life, they never lost their love for each other. The turmoil in Iran and the subsequent revolution caused them to move to Australia in 1978. Their second child, Hima, had already moved there a few years prior. It took my grandmother a long time to come to terms with leaving her homeland and living in another country. But after all her children migrated here and were with her, Australia became her home and she was happy to be here with her family. Kobi Jaan started living with her eldest daughter Hida after Manuche passed away in October 1996. Losing her husband, best friend and the love of her life was devastating for her, but having her family around her helped her cope with the loss. During the coming years, she enjoyed watching her grandchildren grow and having children of their own. She adored her great-grandchildren and loved spending time with them as well. Kobi Jaan lived with her daughter Hida for 26 years. Even though she was able to take care of most of her needs, Hida and her family did everything they could to make her life comfortable and happy. We would like to take this opportunity to thank Hida, Ali and Otusa for everything they have done for Kobi Jaan during all the years they lived together. She was the best mother, grandmother and great-grandmother anyone could have hoped for. And we are all truly blessed to have had her as a constant beacon of love and light in our lives for so many years. We love you, Kobi Jaan. Some of Kobi Jaan's interests included reading. She loved crossword puzzles. She loved watching Days of Our Lives and The Young and the Restless, which she did for like 30 years or more, I think, every day. She loved watching Persian and Turkish movies on her iPad, making video calls to her relatives overseas. She loved embroidery, and she had a wicked sense of humour which she never lost. Kobi Jaan is survived by 4 grandchildren, Hida, Hima, Hamid and Homera. 11 grandchildren, Atusa, Arash, Ali, Amir, Mariam, Ashkan, Ali, Amin, Nima, Ardashir and Ardalan. 12 great-grandchildren and 1 on the way. Dena, Dario, Olivia, Tara, Fatima, Sumaya, Hussein, Qasem, Zainab, Mahdi, Hamza and Abbas. Kobi Jaan was one of the most compassionate, empathic and selfless people we have ever known. Her kindness and sense of duty was beyond belief. She brought up 3 children with love who were not hers, and even though 2 of the 3 broke her heart, she never stopped caring or worrying about them. She was concerned about her loved ones to the end. She had an amazing presence and a great sense of humour. Her smile and laughter was contagious. She forgave easily and was compassionate to a fault. And she will be greatly missed. Thank you.
What a beautiful eulogy to have shared with us. Thank you, Arash. To continue with memory sharing, I ask all the grandchildren here today to come forward, and Ali, Atusa, Miriam and Amin to say a few words. If you would like to come forward, thank you. Hamid, I haven't forgotten you. I've just changed the order, sorry. Who would like to start first?
Hi everyone, thank you for being here today. Just wanted to say a few words. I think most of it was done by Arash. Thank you, Hima and Larry, for organising this today, and thanks everyone to be here. Just wanted to say, just to add to what was said and addressing, because everybody's mother and grandmother and great-grandmother is precious and loved by them and special for them. Kobi Jaan was loved by us and a lot of our friends and whoever had ever had any contact with her. On just addressing my cousin Mariam, myself, Olivia, Tara, Fatima, Zainab, Sumaya, Scarlett and Sky today, that we need to carry on with what Kobi Jaan was and who she was, and just continue and just multiply, the great person, the strong woman, the kind, forgiving, loving, caring, free, graceful, respect ourselves and each other. And she was the glue in the family and relatives. All the cousins and all the friends, family friends, relatives around the world was around Kobi Jaan's being, and like she was keeping everybody together, and to the last minute everybody was in contact. So I really expect us to, starting from myself, to be that, to be with each other, be each other's strength, and be the grandchildren and great-grandchildren that she deserved. That's all I can add before bursting into tears. Thank you.
Okay. Kobi Jaan was a delightful, gentle, kind, hilarious and dignified woman. She was also incredibly intelligent, fair, strong, loyal and loved her family unconditionally, no matter what. I've got too many wonderful memories to mention here, and the same is true for everyone who knew her. She was everyone's friend and was always sharing a laugh, a joke, or singing to us in her loving way right until the end. Some of the best memories from my childhood were staying at her home with my grandpa, Baba Manucher, in Emu Plains with my brothers and all my cousins, aunties and uncle. I loved her lolly drawer, especially her apple chews that she'd carefully ration to us, and her delicious homemade jam and bread I'd eat sitting at her table. She used to walk me to school sometimes when she would stay with us in Barara. She was a great teacher and taught me how to read and write Farsi, how to pray, and it was many years later that I realised she was my connection to my Persian heritage and culture, and had taught me all about patience, dignity, loyalty, love for family, honour, and the strength to endure all things through her example. She loved visiting Manly and sitting by the ocean where my grandfather used to take her. When we would go to Manly together, we would sit for hours and she would tell me all about her life, her losses, her heartbreaks, her joys, and her love for her husband and kids. She was a devoted mother and adored her children, and they adored her. I see her in my mother Hema and my aunties, Hira and Homera, and my uncle Hamid, in how they fiercely love and protect their families too. I'd like to read a poem for my Kobi Jaan. We found both hope and courage just by looking in your eyes. Your laughter was a source of joy, your words warm and wise. We had a wonderful grandmother, one who never really grew old. Her smile was made of sunshine and her heart was solid gold. Her eyes were as bright as shining stars, and in her cheeks fair roses you see. We had a wonderful grandmother, and that's the way it'll always be. From my beginning until your end, you were by my side, my very first best friend. Not a day goes by that I don't think of you. You taught me more than I ever knew. Although I cannot see you, I feel your presence near. I will hold you close in memory till I drop my very last tear. So dance beyond those golden gates and join your loving mum. I'll see you when I'm sleeping and pray for you to come. Rest now, my beautiful Azizam, Kuchulu Muchulu. I'll never forget how much you have done. Until my hand meets yours again. Sleep now and forever in the sun.
To my dear grandmother Kobi Jaan. Once upon a time, You cleaned me in the shower, complaining of how dirty I was. And another time, I'd wake up extra early when I heard the kettle boiling. I'd walk into the kitchen, hear the toaster finish toasting, and sit at the table ready for my breakfast. But if I go back far enough, I can remember sleeping at the end of your bed with my brother. You and Grandpa were like giants from another time. I didn't know what you had done and how you got there, only that your presence made me feel safe and protected. When I think about you, I marvel at how long you lived. There's so much that you must have done, so many places that you would have gone, people you had met. It's strange to me that you're suddenly gone. All those experiences evaporated or moved to another place. I guess I'm hoping it's moved to another place because it's hard to imagine them gone completely. We are, after all, human beings with an inner clock that will one day ring its alarm bell. But you know what? It's nothing to fear because you are walking the boardwalk of the afterlife, watching me, watching us, waiting patiently for when we arrive so that you may embrace us. Energy never dies, and neither does love. Thank you.
Well, I actually haven't prepared anything for today. Before anything, I would like to thank each and every one of you for being here today and joining me and my family through these hard times. It's greatly appreciated. My cousins and my sister said everything there is to say about Kobi Jaan's character and how beautiful and forgiving and generous she was. I had the privilege of living with her for a number of years, recently especially, and Arash, my cousin, was saying that I was looking after her, but at the same time she was looking after me by just being there and shining the lights on the path for me. I've learned a lot from her, especially when it comes to forgiveness, when it comes to being grounded and how to deal with hard times and still try to come out on top without harming or hurting anyone else around me. She was an amazing person. She was interesting to live with. She was a practicing Muslim. I'm a practicing atheist. Yet, there was never an issue, there was never a clash. Not once she tried to enforce her ideas down my throat, vice versa. We had great times together. 3 days before she passed, the kids were talking about her sense of humour. I've got a video of her on her deathbed telling me a joke. And every time I watch it, every morning when I wake up I watch it, I cry and I laugh at the same time. And you know what? All I can say was an absolute privilege to call her grandmother, and she will always live within me, every second of my life. Thank you so much.
Sorry, I forgot to read this writing that Amu Murtaza, Mariam, Arash and Amin and Ali's father has written for Kobi Jaan. It is in Farsi and it says غمی در دل نشست به رسم یادگاری دگر نیست غمی بدتر از این درد جدایی مادری بود فرخنده چون باد صبا به هر دم وزید و فشاند گل در هوا.
Thank you. I'll now ask the great-grandchildren to come forward and we will hear from Dario and Olivia. Please come and share your memories. Thank you.
Yeah.
Hello everyone. I'd first like to say how much we appreciate you all for joining us here today. We know that events like these in the middle of the week are pretty difficult to get to, so it means a lot that you're all here with us and sharing our grief and some happy memories of Kobi Jaan. Sorry. As you all know, we're gathered here today to remember the life of an exceptional woman. Kobi Jaan was very important to all of us. She was an incredible mother and grandmother, and to many of us she was also a teacher and a role model. I'd like to spend a moment sharing some of the things I admired most about her and some of the ways I'd like to be more like my late grandmother. I admired her positivity, to always smile, to be happy and to laugh, and to make sure that she could share that joy whenever possible. I admired her strength and her grace, her ability to remain composed and to be tactful in tense situations, and her ability to stand her ground on things that were really important to her really amazed me. I admire her courage and her spirit. Her courage to face all the challenges ahead of her is deeply inspiring, particularly as mentioned, moving across the world from your homeland that Arash mentioned. It could not have been easy. I admire her faith, her unwavering belief that all people are good inside and that everyone has something to offer this world. It still moves me. I admire her patience, her sweet smile and nod, watching me butcher a sentence in Farsi, trying to get something out, must not have been easy. I admire her encouragement and her support. She only ever wanted us to succeed and to do well. She believed that working hard and being resilient and being happy was all that you really needed in this world, and I agree. And finally, I'd always admire how much gratitude she had for everyone around her, and her ability to remind us of how lucky we really are. How lucky we are to be on this planet, how lucky we are to have these amazing people around us, and how lucky we are to have been given the opportunities in life to be happy and fulfilled. Kobi Jaan was an amazing woman, and she will forever be missed. I take comfort, however, knowing that her life was full and joyous. I hope that I can live my life in a way that reflects some of her qualities, and I want to look back at my life and know that she would be as proud of me as I am of her. Thank you.
To say it is an honour to be Kobi Jaan's great-granddaughter would be a huge understatement. Kobi Jaan was the most selfless and devoted wife, mother, grandmother and great-grandmother. She absolutely adored us all, and family was the centre of her world. As great-grandchildren, we got to see the most adoring and gentle side of her. I was always spoiled with gifts and lots of love. Something Kobi Jaan was known for was if you ever complimented something of hers, she would insist that you have it. I once told her I liked her purse and she didn't let me leave that day without taking it home. Kobi Jaan had an amazing sense of humour. I especially used to love watching her and my poppy joke together and always making fun of each other. Despite the language differences, they would always end up laughing so much. I was privileged enough to spend a lot of time with Kobi Jaan in the 2 weeks before she passed, and I wanted to share some of the things I observed in this time. She never once stopped thinking about her family or worrying about us. She never complained despite all the pain she was in. She continued to joke with us all, and as well the doctors and nurses. And she was completely dignified the whole time, more than I could have ever imagined. What I will miss the most is her beautiful reaction every time she saw me. Her whole face would light up with a massive smile and she would say, "Azizam, hoş geldin, horbune berem," which means, my darling, my beautiful, I would sacrifice myself for you. Every time, it was as if we hadn't seen each other in years. No one else greets me this way, with so much excitement and affection. I'm forever grateful that I was able to spend 20 years of my life with Kobi Jaan. I miss her so much already, and I find it hard to imagine our family without her. But I know we will see her again.
I want to thank everyone for coming up here and speaking, because it's not easy. I haven't prepared anything in advance, but I thought I had to come up here and say a few words. About a week before our great-grandma passed, I recall going and visiting her while she was still conscious and able to respond. And we talked, we sort of saw the writing on the wall. We knew what was coming. And I asked her, because I knew she prayed every day, always on the dot. I'd never seen her do anything that was against her religion. I'd never seen her take a drink of alcohol, never seen her eat any bacon, any pork. And I said, you should be calm. And she was, because if anyone is going to get into paradise, it's surely you. But she responded to me by saying, very humbly, we don't know the will of God, so who can truly say? Like a cliff on the ocean, life throws a lot of waves at us, but she always stood strong, but none of us are immune. And after 95 years, no short amount of time, it eventually took her down. But her memory of standing against the waves of life, because her life wasn't easy, as before mentioned, the political situations that she had been put through, the things she had seen in her life, both personal and external, were not easy. But she stood strong and resilient. She never lost her composure, and she was always happy. She never let anything that happened upset her, or she never even let other people get upset by being sad or being upset about anything. Thank you for listening.
There's not much I can say that hasn't already been said, but I also had the privilege of living with her for a little while before she passed, and one thing I'll never forget is how utterly excited she was to see me every single morning, despite the fact that I live a couple steps down the hall from her. And every time without fail, coming up to me saying, "Blow your nose," looking at my nose piercings. Even on her deathbed, even when we knew there wasn't going to be much longer, she was still telling me to blow my nose. Every time, without fail. And no one has ever shown that sort of resilience and that sort of pure love. No one can compare to her in any way. I don't really know what else to say or what to add other than I was blessed with the privilege of having her as a role model for my entire life, as of now. And she's the biggest blessing any of us could have asked for. That's it.
Hamid, you weren't forgotten. Would you like to come and share some memories of your mum with us, please?
Thank you.
Make sure you hold it up close enough, Gmail. Make sure you hold the microphone up close enough, Gmail.
Good day, everyone. How can I praise a woman who was bigger than life herself? I'm glad that grandchildren and great-grandchildren have spoken before me. They said everything which should have been said. And I'm happy that there wasn't a touch of exaggeration in it. They were not exaggerating, that woman. was and is a beautiful person. Today, I personally am celebrating two lives. One, Mom, as we know her as Mom. Mom Armitage. And now in a short period of time, we have lost Kobi Jaan. These two people, I can say they were, in many ways, they were identical. If God created two humble, selfless people, it was these two people. And I love them both. Dearly. I'd like to thank my sisters, Hida, Hima, and Homeira. Hida and Hima for taking good care of Mom. I cannot say much about my mom because her resume is sitting here. As it's said in Holy Bible, I'm Muslim, but I'm not afraid of getting a reference from other holy books. If you want to know the tree, look at its fruits, and they are all here. All I can say is I am proud to be a son of such a woman. She was the sanctuary of calm and peace for me. Every time I was troubled, every time I was hitting the concrete wall, I went to her. And she always managed to help me. The ones who know me, they know my restless soul and my sense of adventure in areas that I shouldn't adventure there. My mother one day told me, why, for God's sake, why you like always to walk on the edge of a sharp blade? Why do you have to do that? And she was the one who pulled me back from such a behavior, such a kind of attitude that I had in life. Well, thank her for that. I never forget her. She's always alive in my heart. I'd like to thank all the grandchildren, Ali, Atusa, all the others, great-grandchildren, Tara, she took beautifully, Mariam. Thank you for being there when they were washing her body and preparing her. Olivia, you are my heart. She was a lucky woman. We were all lucky children. She was lucky in a sense that to the last moment, everybody was around her. I have seen people, they have left us lonely. And I always pray to God, if I want to go, help me to go that way. Please forgive me, I can't talk anymore. Thank you, I thank everybody who is here. Thank you for being with us in these hard moments.
It's never hard to get up as someone who was loved so deeply and be able to say the words that you want to be able to say, but you've all been doing so well today. Well, we have some people who aren't physically here with us, and we were to have some video tributes from them from overseas. However, you get to hear me reading them instead, so I apologise. I won't have their lovely accent when they're speaking. I'll have my Aussie accent, but I hope you can bear with me. First of all, there's a message from Turkey, from Ali, Kobi Jaan's grandson. Kobi Jaan, you are a pure blessing to us all. I thank God that we got to borrow you in this world for such a long time. You were the definition of grace, love, kindness and humility. To my beautiful family and relatives, please forgive me for not being near in this difficult time. Grieving from afar has been very difficult, and I pray to God that your suffering eases with time. Kobi Jaan's large personality extended beyond her aging frame. She didn't act or speak like a woman in her 90s. She was social, relatable, humorous and present. She was quick to forgive and even quicker to greet you with a loving smile, followed by joyful wit. Even in her final days, she had the courage and strength to be humorous and cheerful every time I called to wish her well. My childhood memories will always be a special sanctuary, anchored to the memory of her. The smell of brown toast folded with butter and honey in the mornings, the incessant call to take off your shoes when entering her home, the hiding of delicious apple juice, telling us to wash our hands before we ate. She loved all of us, faults and all. She was a constant in an ever-changing world. Let us be more like Kobi Jaan, joyful despite our sorrow, smiling despite our pain, kind even when wronged, prepared when the hour comes for us to leave, and always, always ready to love one another. I love you and miss you, Kobi Jaan. Send my love to Baba Manache and all your ancestors. Till we meet again. They were words from Ali. Now we're flying over to Singapore. Grandson Amir has some words that he would like shared. Kobi Jaan, you are the light of our lives, one that will shine for eternity in our hearts, minds and memories. Your generosity knew no bounds. Your sense of humour was second to none. But what we'll miss about you are your limitless capacity to love and to forgive, and your ability to see the best in everyone at all times, no matter the circumstance. You were truly one of a kind, a holy woman with a heart of solid gold. Thank you for being the best and most fun grandma and great-grandma to all of us. Thank you for loving us each in your way and always making sure we felt your love. We are eternally grateful and honoured to have had you in our lives. We love you so much. Amir, Beth, Scarlett and Sky from Singapore. And now we move to Canada. And this is from Cousins Mahmood. On behalf of our family and some friends who through us got to know and fall in love with Kobi Jaan, to all of you, Hida, Hema, Homara, Hamid, Larry, all the grandchildren and all the great-grandchildren, condolences for your loss. I got to know Kobi Jaan when a few years ago we travelled to Australia. Although I knew about Mahmood's extended family in Australia and had met some of them, I got to really know them in Sydney. The moment we entered that warm, inviting and friendly house, I realised that was going to have an unforgettable and memorable time with this kind, amazing people. During our 3 weeks staying with them, I fell in love with every member of the family, but the loveliest and most amazing of all was Kobi Jaan. In no time, she became my friend. Her laughter, her jokes, her way of doing crossword puzzles together with the late Mr. Mirasekandari, sorry if I pronounced that incorrectly, amazed me. I kept telling her that I wished my mum was a little like her. I said to Mahmoud, why did you take us to Canada when you had such a wonderful family here? Imagine how happy our children would have been with such happy cousins, and Kobi Jaan would have been an amazing replacement grandmother. After we came back to Vancouver, every single phone conversation, and after joking and laughing, Kobi Jaan would say, okay, come back. Your vacation is over. And we would promise to come back. I wish we kept our promise. Kobi Jaan, we will miss you. Rest in peace. Nahid and Mahmoud. Hema, I would like to ask you to come up, and on behalf of your sisters, you have some things to share with us.
Thank you everyone for being here. Before I start, I want to apologize to a few people. Amir, Beth, Sky and Scarlett, and my husband Larry. In my stressful time and having to do a lot, I forgot to mention you. I'm really, really sorry about that. I know Sky and Scarlett were big lights in my mum's life, and when I told her that they might come with Amir, sorry. She was so very happy, but at the end she didn't get to see them. So I really apologize. And Larry has tirelessly helped me to organize this. And I don't know how I forgot your name in this. Anyway, this is just a little prayer. Dear God, the merciful and great, please take the soul and spirit of our dearly departed Kobi Jaan into the sweetest corner of your mind, the most tender place in your heart, that she might be comforted. For now she has gone, and I pray, dear God, for the strength to remember she has not gone far. Take her into your arms, dear God, and bring peace to her soul. May her transition be sweet. We see at this time all the beloved people who mourn her, and we watch as the glorious angels of God now tie the golden cord of eternal life at one end of Kobi Jaan's heart, and at the other end the heart of everyone who so receives her. For she is with you and shall remain so forever. She remains within me and us all, for we are all in you together. The cord of love that binds us to each other cannot be cut, surely not by death. For you, dear God, have brought us together, and we remain in eternal connection. There is no power greater than you. Death is not your master nor mine. These things I believe and ask my heart to remember. We surrender to you our grief. We surrender to you our pain. Please take care of our dear mother, sister, grandmother, great-grandmother, auntie, great-auntie, matriarch, and friend Kobi Jaan.
Thank you.
We have a photo tribute that we're going to be watching now. It's been put together all the way from Turkey by Ali. Please enjoy watching the memories as they come up on the screen. Thank you.
Jaan. Kuchulu muchulu.
Kuchulu muchulu. Çaçara kuchulu.
داشتم که 90 سالشه، شوهری دارم که 90 سالشه، ریش بلندش تا دم شالشه.
How beautiful to hear her words right at the end there. Lovely work, Harley. Well, we have heard about Kobi Jaan's life. We have laughed, smiled, and we've shed a tear or two. Although there is sadness that her life with us has ended, and her presence will no doubt be missed, let us remember the legacy that she has left. Compassion, forgiveness, kindness, and her smile. Although they have passed on, their memory forever stays. Remember how they smiled and the joy they always gave. We'll miss them all the time and think of them every day. Their love filled the world, a love that will never fade. Cobra Azodomolki lived a good life and was loved and adored by her family. That's been so evident here today. The memories you hold will not fade, and the love you have for Cobra and hers for you will never go away. Hold close to those memories. Speak of her amongst yourself to keep the memories alive. And always remember how very much you are loved. Embrace Kobi Jaan's legacy. Be compassionate. Be forgiving. Show kindness and smile. For this was her way, the way she has taught you. Rest in peace, Cobra Azodomolki.